A Samsung for every taste, that seems to be the main mantra of the Korean giant as of late, as evident by its sprawling and ever-expanding smartphone lineup. We guess it's always good to have more options, but we just can't shake the feeling that some of Samsung's recent creations are beginning to overlap and tread in each other's territory, at least from the global perspective we have. Here's what we mean. The Galaxy A line and the Galaxy C line are way too close specs-wise to clearly distinguish from a consumer point of view. The Galaxy A7, 2017, packs a 5.7-inch display, an efficient 14nm Exynos 7880 octa-SoC, a body made out of a glass, metal combo, IP68 certification, 16 MP/f/1.9 cameras front and back. Offerings like the Galaxy C7 and its C7 Pro sibling come pretty close to the Galaxy A7 formula, and the 6-inch C9 Pro takes things even further size-wise. If you want a well-equipped Samsung offering with current hardware features like a metal exterior, a snappy processor, and the coveted Super AMOLED panel, then you can look for it within the A family. The fresh Galaxy C line, however, fits that bill just as well. Now with the waterproofing, the refreshed 2017 Galaxy A line easily stands out. Then there is also the still current S7 flagship, which might be smaller in size, but is packed to the brim with tech and has been coming down in price rapidly. Deciding between any of these appears to be a daunting task and might require some careful consideration to identify your perfect Samsung mix, if they are all even available where you live, of course. Samsung is still keeping the A7, 2017, away from European markets for some reason, and until that changes, grey imports are your only bet on the old continent. With that in mind, follow along on the next page as we start to pick apart the Galaxy A7, 2017, and what it has to offer. It's no wonder Samsung went with the S7 look for the A7, 2017, the style simply works, the shapes and proportions are well thought out, and when executed with top-shelf materials, it really makes for a no-compromise experience. Starting from the front of the A7, 2017, we find, well, the S7 really, that somehow unmistakable Samsung look, comprising of a screen, distinctly rounded home button, with a fingerprint reader and a pair of capacitive controls in a somewhat retro arrangement. Enjoy it while it lasts, since the S8 will probably bring about the retirement of this design language. Speaking of the fingerprint reader, it works just as on the Galaxy S7, which is another way of saying, it's good but it's not the fastest one around. One thing that is missing from the clean front panel is a notification LED. The A7, 2017, does, however, have an always-on display feature, which kind of fills the void. Still, this is admittedly a small omission. The A7, 2016, has at least a few other flagship-grade features to make up for it. The IP68 rating is definitely one of them. This is the first time it appears as part of the A-series formula, and we really hope it sticks around. Continuing our hardware tour with the sides and the rest of the device's controls, one thing instantly stands out, the speaker grill. It sits right above the power button. For ringtones that's as good as any other position, and in a way it's better for video viewing when holding the display in landscape orientation than the prevalent bottom placement. There are no stereo speakers, but there aren't any on Samsung flagships either. Not yet, at least. On the opposite bezel, we find a pair of volume controls and a SIM tray. Yes, you read that right, the tray houses a single card and nothing else. And in case you are wondering where the microSD card goes or the second SIM, provided you have the dual version, that would be on the top side of the phone. That is something you don't see every day. And just like its smaller sibling the A5, 2017, which we recently reviewed, it has a dedicated second tray. It houses the other potential SIM slot and also has a dedicated space for the microSD card. It's a dedicated solution and not a hybrid one, and we can't stress enough just how much we prefer it this way. Only like this can you enjoy both dual SIM functionality and have a microSD card inside the phone simultaneously. The only other hardware on the top side seems to be a secondary microphone. The bottom of the A7, 2017, houses two connectors with a very different story, one still pretty new, while the other potentially headed towards retirement. The former is the USB Type-C port. Since the Galaxy S7 still relies on the traditional microSD connector, the new A line is currently a bit ahead of the curve in Samsung terms. This will likely change with the S8, but besides updating the connector, the flagship might also use the opportunity to drop the older 3.5mm audio connector. If you are among the many who don't exactly fancy this new trend, you will be happy to learn that it is still present on the A7, 2017. Moving on to the back, there isn't much in the way of hardware here either. A camera and a single LED flash. That's it. No fancy collection of sensors, like on the Galaxy S models. We already mentioned the round slope on the back on the A7, 2017, which does make it a joy to hold. Still, the glass finish does have its shortcomings. For one, it is a fingerprint magnet. Then there is the question of traction. However, this seems to vary from person to person, and we have handled more slippery aluminum finished phones as well.